time to head home. Lost the first game. That's how it feels. But Phonetap, I don't know if he's feeling that great about that. He looked pretty shaken up by that one turn where he floated 3 mana after trying to get that Edwin Van Cleef out. Of course, still, it's when you get into position as a rogue where you have gadgets and coin plus conceal on turn 6, you got to be feeling pretty good about your chances regardless.
You got to do the gadgets and dance when that happens.
Yeah, so feeling pretty happy. He's got Shaman and Warlock remaining. Knowing Phonetap, it's probably Aggro Shaman and Zoo Warlock. He tends to, like you said earlier, he plays what he's comfortable with, and Aggro Shaman is a deck that Phonetap's been playing forever. Aggro Shaman is a deck that Phonetap has been playing since before Aggro Shaman was even a big deal. Back, if you think back to the tournament, his breakout tournament performance, Legendary Series Season 2 finals, which he qualified for and actually won. He was playing Shaman in his list, and people were criticizing it endlessly leading up to the tournament, including me. I was one of those people. And he ended up winning the whole tournament with it. So
me personally, I was singing his praises, and I was going, you know what? Phonetap's really going to win this tournament with Aggro Shaman. It's a brilliant choice.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. It's a total lie.
No, nobody ever pointed out the stats that his Aggro Shaman actually had like a negative win rate across most of his matches, and that his Zoo and his Druid actually carried him to the end. But still, like, it was a bold choice, and he still won a tournament with it. It didn't hold him back enough. So moving into game number 2 here, it is going to be that Zoo Warlock versus the Patron Warrior. And, this could have been a choice from Justsaiyan, bringing, you said the tournament lineups between a giant open tournament like DreamHack Austin or the ONOG circuit, which is an 8-man invitational / qualified where the 8 players that are going to be competing. He probably looked at that list and looked at his group and said, all these guys are going to play Zoo. I'm just going to play Patron.
Such a strong deck right now. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find a reason to not play Zoo at the moment. To be perfectly honest with you, I've just lost to this deck so many times on ladder recently. It just kind of sticks minions on the board, and there's not really much you could do about it. All your answers feel a little bit weak. Now, this play from Phonetap is going to be met about as well as Justsaiyan possibly could have with that Ravaging Ghoul. At least I imagine it's going to be Ravaging Ghoul. We'll leave 2 1/1s around, but instead he's going to favor Acolyte. So once again, playing it very slow, isn't afraid to take some of the early damage, just not too worried about it. Just going to put some damage on this Imp King boss and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of those situations where you're going to more than likely get more than a single draw. So 2 draws on your Acolyte of Pain at least from this board, especially on 3 mana. He can't defend Vargas, things like that. So he's feeling, I might as well get it down. Next turn I can combo with Ravaging Ghoul and Blood to Ichor, which can allow me to clear off something a little bit bigger if he's expecting like a Dark Shadow Councilman. Because usually if your opponent coins out a 3-drop, if they're Zoo, they have a 3-drop to back it up, which doesn't happen to be the case this time, but he feels like he's going to be able to get more value out of that Ravaging Ghoul.
Another interesting thing here is that with this play, it might be looking to Phonetap like there just is no Ravaging Ghoul in hand, that there is no Whirlwind available. And so when this hits the board, he might sense weakness in this, and that's exactly what's happening. He's going to power Overwhelming to take out this Acolyte and push damage to face. And Justsaiyan, going to be able to reap a mild amount of benefit from this, I imagine. But again, it's very difficult to nail his style because he always has some sort of plan in mind. He's never just playing his cards. There's something very specific he wants to do. And in this situation, it was get more value from this Ravaging Ghoul. And I think slowing down Phonetap, forcing the power Overwhelming onto that Acolyte, I certainly think this is a big benefit for him.
Yeah, definitely. And knowing this type of style, the only reason why he would attack here is if he doesn't want a full clear on his board moving into the next turn. Because it would be an easy clear with just an abusive Sergeant, which is definitely possible at this stage in the game. So he's thinking, is it worth the Axe Swing? And I really like holding on here because even if your board gets cleared, having the second charge of Fire War Axe is, I think actually more important than risking, if an abusive Sergeant is present, a full board clear.
Yeah, but a really awkward turn here from Phonetap. None of his plays look too terribly appealing. Darkshire Councilman contested with just what's on the board. Flame Imp contested with just what's on the board. Not any real way to activate a lot of juggles here. This might have been something else that Justsaiyan was playing towards too. If you've practiced this matchup enough and you know that turn 4 is a very critical turn for Warlocks and can disrupt them going into that turn, that's a pretty big deal, and it looks like that's what happened. And Phonetap, I think he's kind of relegated to playing the Councilman and the Flame Imp. He just doesn't really have appealing options. otherwise. And Life Tap is just miserable because then you don't develop anything other than the Flame Imp or the Knife Juggler, which I can't imagine why you'd play the Knife Juggler in this situation.
Yeah. Well, he can opt to use that power whelming on one of these 1/1s, but it feels like, the power overwhelming is going to trade with the 3/3 the same way. Oh, he's actually going to preemptively trade here to play around a Whirlwind effect. Okay.
Yeah, pretty interesting there. It also puts damage on that Ravaging Ghoul, so should it choose to attack on that Dark Shard Councilman, it will get traded away.
Mm-hmm.
And Justsaiyan, not the cleanest of turns here for himself either. Looks like Bloodhoof Brave is good enough, though.
Oh, that's bold.
Well, he can Bloodhoof Brave and just kill off the Dark Shard Councilman. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, that's very true. It does not play on curve. I was thinking slam, but you're not guaranteed to pick up anything that you can play here. Your deck is curved lower, but
wow.
Okay.
What a draw from Justsaiyan here. Able to take out that Councilman, clean up the Flame Imp, connect for 3, and then armor up. He's got the full board control right now, and Phonetap, a pretty stranded hand with just Leroy Power Overwhelming and Knife Juggler. Forbidden Rituals welcome. So here we go. This is a 50% chance to kill this Ravaging Ghoul, I believe.
Slightly less.
Well, now it's slightly less.
Yeah. Now it's
wow. Well, now he wants them all to go to face. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the feels bad man juggle. And this
Worst
is where
possible.
Justsaiyan is very likely to just take over this game. Double Inner Rage, trade off the Knife Juggler, 3 Patron set versus 3 1/1s.
Yeah.
It's going to get mighty difficult for Phonetap to clean this up. Defender of Argus would clean this up here. Abusive Sergeant, very close to doing so. Maybe a second Abusive Sergeant. It's not going to be it. So, Justsaiyan going to be very far ahead after this turn. He's done a fantastic job cleaning up Phonetap's side of the board, and that execute was so timely on turn 5.
Yeah, and how many resources can you afford to use on these patrons? I mean, yeah, you're essentially trading a card for a card, since in order to make the extra patron, he had to spend an Inner Rage. But on average, your cards are going to be weaker as the game goes on. If you use this Power Overwhelming and the Abusive Sergeant and try and clear off these minions, you're still going to be in a spot where your opponent can
propagate
trade
those
in
patrons.
one of these and keep propagating. So it's, I don't know. I guess you're still really far away from being able to close out the game. You do have Leroy Power Overwhelming, Abusive Sergeant, but with the armor up staring at you on their side and your opponent not even being below sub 20 health at this stage.
Woo!
Oh, man! That's brutal.
That is some hot heat.
That is brutal.
Justsaiyan. 1/1 is going to be left on board. Bloodhoof Brave going to protect the 5/1 patron and just going to start connecting. I was curious at this point if there was any way Phonetap could even win this game with the way the cards ended up panning out. But this is one of the reasons why you play Patron in a Conquest lineup, is to punish these Zeus styles. So him picking up a game here, not really too much of a surprise. And on the board for him, saying there's no emotion from me whatsoever. He's like, yeah, I won a game. Cool.
Yeah.
I do this all the time. It's my
It's
job.
it's rare to see him smile, but you think maybe the Warlock doesn't mean